Okay. Good morning. Happy Saturday, April 26th. So it's the last Saturday of this particular month. And let's see how we manage in our yoga practice. So we have a nice, mildly rainy day here in New York, which is helping the flowers grow and the plants. And as I said, when we were kind of talking before the video started, it gives me a day off from being out in the garden working, so it feels good. Let's begin. So come to your comfortable cross-legged seated position, remembering to give yourself enough lift underneath, right? So if your hips or knees are challenged or tight, sometimes just a little bit higher up, even lower back, could be helpful. If this is too much on your knees to sit cross-legged, you can bring the soles of your feet together. And if you're having hip stuff, there are two other ways that you can sit. You can either sit, and I'm obviously addressing people's issues that are coming into the room. You can sit with your legs straight, but after a while, it's kind of hard. You can see how I want to round back. So if you have a hip problem and you really can't laterally rotate like sitting cross-legged asks, you can take a blanket and a block or two. I'll show you from behind. You can kneel on the blanket so your shins are cushioned, tops of the ankles on the edge of the blanket, put the block between your heels and sit back down. You can put a blanket on top of that even to give you a little bit more lift and cushioning. All right. So those are a few options. Just because I ask you to sit cross-legged pretty much every week to do our opening, our breathing, doesn't mean that you have to do that if it's not good for your body, right? It kind of defeats the purpose. All right, so getting back. Y'all, so I'm down in Savannah now, find your comfortable seat. With the understanding that we want to create not only a stable foundation, but we want to create a nice, long, extended, elevated, uplifted torso. With this idea that the crown of the head is over the tail. The collarbones are spreading. Shoulder blades coming down the back of the ribs. Elbows are soft. Your hands can be on your knees or thighs, either palms down or palms up. Oftentimes, I begin class as a student and a teacher with my palms down on my thighs, on my knees, as a gesture of grounding, of planting myself right now on the earth and in my practice. So rooting myself down into this practice. And then oftentimes at the end of class, when we come together again, I have my palms up, right? Because we've completed and now I'm ready to receive the energy of the goddess, of the great mystery. So what do you feel right now? And create your mudra with your hands. You can even come to Jnana Mudra, thumb and index finger meeting, and the three remaining fingers are down. You can have palms up, and you can have Jnana Mudra even with your palms down. And if you haven't already begun, breathe deeply, fully, elongate the breath. Remembering our three-dimensionality, right? That we're three-dimensional beings. Who knows, maybe more than three. So feel the front, the sides, and the back of you expanding and contracting with the breath. We'll sit for a few more rounds as you let the exhale extend a little bit longer than the inhale. And then after that next long exhale, we'll start to move our bodies and we'll notice how the breath comes along for the ride. Try to remember not to hold your breath and to keep breathing. So as you exhale, drop your chin down to the chest. Shoulders are still upright and pulled back a little bit. Before we drop our head down toward the floor, let's just turn the head toward the right, kind of peek out toward the right side of our room. And then chin comes back to center and peek out toward the left side. And then come back to center and then allow the head to draw you down. Hands can reach forward to catch you. As you bow down, again, letting your neck and head be loose, right? That the first looking to left and right is a little assessment on where you are today, tension in your neck. And then let's come on over toward the right, bring that left arm with you. Now we get to feel our side body, the hips, the ribs. And then we come on over toward the right or left or whatever side, just go the other way. I lost track. Breathe in, breathe out. Loose neck, loose jaw. Then find your way back through center, strong belly, strong pelvic floor. We'll lean back and you can come into a quick Navasana. Oh, yeah, let's just do it. Why not? Feels so good, right? And we're so practiced at it. Just part of our ritual. And then we'll change the crossings of the ankles. Shins come up nice and tall. And here we go. Exhale, drop your chin down, roll down through the front of your body, reach those arms out. And we're on a little bit of a fact-finding mission. What are the facts of our sensation, our bodies today? What are they telling us? And then reaching over toward the right, again, left arm reaches, notice neck, jaw, shoulders as relaxed as can be. The only thing that's really working is the pelvic floor and navel to kind of keep you engaged and supported here as you go over to your left. Yeah. Keep reaching that right arm out a little bit more. And then we'll come back to our center. Roll up, hands back behind to support as you come up into your Navasana. And we'll hold the pose for a moment. And this is a nice opportunity if you'd like to just let your feet separate. You can keep, I like to keep my knees bent here because of my hip flexors and quadricep muscles. But if you're ready to straighten your legs, go ahead. Good. I see some toe movement, some ankles moving. It's beautiful. And then release and let your legs just shoot out in front. We'll do a little rocking in, rocking out. Yep. I'm going to come off of my perch. So if you were kneeling, you might want to start to come down onto your butts again and, join us with the soles of the feet together. Bring your hands on your shins. And those of you, who talked about having some knee stuff before we started, just notice as we're moving through stuff, if what aggravates you, right? What movement aggravates you? And obviously, if it aggravates you, you want to minimize the aggravation, right? Right. So that's so true for lots of things in our lives. So hands on the shins, we're going to lengthen up, spread your collarbones, look up, and then exhale, rock it back. So we're inhaling and we're exhaling. Breathing in as you arch into your dog and breathe out as you round into your cat. And again, we're on a little journey here of noticing our bodies, the sensation in our bodies. Now, the next time you rock yourselves back, look towards your heels, and yep, we're going to bring our head forward toward those heels. Reach the arms out, big stretch for the lower back, for the back of the hips. Again, minimize extra tension that's not necessary. So relaxing your neck, your jaw, reach your arms up by your ears, look forward, lengthen forward, and with your next breath, hinge on up, and then we're going to get like really tiny, right? We're going to squeeze up, squeeze the front, the back, and the sides of your torso in toward the center line, lengthening as much as you can, and then gently keep the length through your spine. Just let your arms travel down. We'll do a few shoulder shrugs. So inhaling up to your ears, exhaling, releasing them down. So we'll do 2 or 3 of these, and then we'll shrug up, roll back and down and forward. And now we're just doing some nice little circles here, right? So just allowing anything sitting on your shoulders, any burdens that you're carrying for this moment to roll off. Yeah, if you need to, you'll pick them up again after class. And the next time the shoulders drop back and down, we're just going to take the hands behind. Now, it doesn't matter what direction your fingertips are facing. It's really up to you. You can have your fingertips down. If you can reach with your arms, you can bring the palms down. And we'll just open the chest, open the top of your torso, right? Lift your throat. Try not to really hang your head back, but let the head fall back because you're lifting the front of the throat and the chin just a little bit more. Your eyes can cross the ceiling. Keep pressing down into your arms. Breathe in, breathe out, opening that chest. Feel your shoulder blades pinning in toward each other or pinching in toward each other. And then lift your head and then come back up. And when you come back up, once again, just let your hands rest on your knees and thighs. So I feel a lot in that. I feel a lot, of course, in the chest opening, shoulder blades coming in toward each other, but I feel a lot in my arms too. I don't know if any of you feel that way too. So it's a nice stretch. My fingertips were back. So let's try that again. And I'm going to ask you, if you can, bring your fingertips to face forward toward you, right? Heel of the hand down. So walk your hands, palms forward toward you. And then once again, before you lift your head, press down into your hands, grow up through your spine. So you're rounding. It's like a little bit of a back bend here. Shoulder blades coming in toward each other. Breastbone lifting up toward the ceiling, throat lifting up toward the ceiling, eyeballs scrolling across the sky. Keep pressing down, especially into your thumb and index finger. Breathe in, breathe out. This is a nice stretch for the bicep muscle, another breath. And then let your head come back up. And once again, we'll release. So what I love about these little things that we do is that just the changing of the rotation of your arms really changes the stretch that you get. And we're going to shake out the legs. And then if it's okay for you, come back into Sukhasana, cross-legged, fold in, or keep the soles of your feet together. So if you can, cross your right shin in front of your left. Cross your right shin in front of your left. And if you do the other way, it's not a big deal. Let your left hand come onto your right knee. And use a little energy in that outer right knee. You're going to press it down into your hand as you lift your torso just a little bit higher. Then we're going to take the right hand around onto the floor. Now, this is where the fingertips are facing back behind you, or even toward the left a little bit, as you look back and come into this spinal twist. Ideally, the shoulders are as level as they can be. The right to the left shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll tuck that chin, right? We do this pretty much every first spinal twist or so, just to notice how the upper back, the neck, and the shoulders are all connected. And then we look back over the left shoulder, looking back. We look back, and when the head can't turn anymore, we look back with the eyes. Try to keep everything soft. And then gently release your gaze toward the front, and then look out over this right knee. And we'll take the right arm up and over that left hand. We're looking out. We're going to do the off-sided cats and dogs. Taking a breath. And as you exhale, rock back into your cat. Inhale, arch into your dog. And we'll do these for a few times and just notice the different sensation that you feel, right? So I'm feeling a lot of sensation, a lot of nice stretch through the left side of my shoulder blade, deep underneath the shoulder blade. Where are you feeling it in your body? What do you notice? We'll do one or two more. And then the next time you come up, you're still looking out over that right leg. Yes? I'm going to lift the right arm up using your left hand on the right knee to help bring you forward over that knee again. Now, this is nothing new. We did this before. And then release your left hand and once again, bow down toward that right knee. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to swing to center so you're forward again in center. Let your head go. And then we're going to swing our left hand out toward the left. Swing your left hand out toward the left on the floor, outside of your hip. Take your right hand onto your inner right thigh. Press it down a little bit. And as you press it down, it'll help to open your chest as we come into a side bend. So let your left elbow bend a little bit, left shoulder moves away from the ear, as you can either look forward or you can turn your gaze up toward the sky. Now, once you're here and you feel open in the front of your body as much as you can, lift your right arm up, and root your right hip down as you bring your right arm by your right ear. You could look down toward your left wrist or hand. You could look forward, you could look up, you could do all three. Another breath, really stretch it out. It almost feels like you want to pull your right hip off of the blanket, but you're not. And then with your next breath, we're just going to come on up. Whew. Take a moment to feel. Breathe in, breathe out. And now, once again, we're going to come back with our hands, right? So we're going to bring the fingertips to face forward and maybe walk the hands back away from you a couple of inches so you can really land on the heel of those hands. Look forward to start. Press down through your arms. Inner elbows are poking forward, nice and long and straight. Open your chest. Open your throat, your face, scroll your eyes across the ceiling once again. Keep pressing down. Feel like your shoulder blades are pushing up onto the back of your rib cage. Another breath here. Breathe in, breathe out. You could do dragon breath. You could really let that breath out through your mouth. And then lift your head, push off of your arms. And we're going to extend the legs straight out for a moment. Shake out those legs, rock in and out. And then once again, we're going to cross the legs in front, but this time the left shin is in front. If your soles of the feet are together, then you don't have to worry about left and right. It's all good. We'll take the right hand onto the left knee. Now, if you could reach toward the outer side of the knee a little bit, that'll be nice, because then when you're sitting up tall, you can press that outer knee down, grabbing your fingers, and it will just help to give you a little like an isometric feeling, so you can extend your spine up. And then we'll take this left hand onto the floor behind us. Try to level your shoulders, right? It's hard if you can't see them, but just try to feel if your right and left shoulder are on the same line. And then look back towards your left. And remember, the eyeballs can move when the head can't anymore. We'll drop the chin toward the chest or toward the collarbone. Notice where the stretch is a little bit different than the first side. And then with your next breath, we scrape our chin across the chest and then look back over that right shoulder again. Keep peeling the left collarbone open. Eyes look back when the head can't turn. Another breath in, another breath out. Now look forward, bring your torso forward. Your right hand stays on top of your left knee. Your left hand will free and come on top of that knee. You're looking out towards your left, and we'll do some of those off-sided cats and dogs, breathing out and breathing in. Now, if it feels so different from one side to the other, you're in good company, because that's how I feel. This feels so different to me than the first side. And there's nothing wrong. It's just that we're different-sided, right? We have different ways of patterning, different dominances in our bodies. Now, the next time you come up, we're going to lift that left arm, and it will help to bring you forward. Once you come down, you can free your right hand, bowing down toward that knee. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to swing over towards center using the right arm to lead. The right arm is going to come outside of your right hip toward the right. Left hand onto your left thigh above the knee. You're going to press down and gently open the chest. You could look up toward the sky. You could look down toward the hand. You could look forward. And then with your next breath, lift that left arm and really stretch it up, stretch, stretch, stretch. So earlier I said, really squeeze up through your torso, and that's what we're doing again now, even though it's going toward the right. Let your right ear drop down. Breathe in. Bring your your left ribs back a little bit as you look up. Keep the left ribs opening as you turn your head down. Another breath. And then find your way back through center, and we'll float it back up. And just take another moment to feel, to pause. A lot of energy flowing through us right now. And then let's extend those legs out. Yeah, good. And shake out. So one nice way to warm up the legs and the hamstrings, of course, you guys already know this because we do it all the time. So we're going to flex the feet, Dandasana, staff pose. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit looser in your hips and in your spine, and sitting upright like this now is a little bit easier. Again, we try not to slouch. If you feel like you have to slouch or rock back a little bit, then you want to lift underneath your tush, right? A little bit more. So from here, we're just going to extend the toes, point the toes. Imagine your inner ankle bones in line with each other, not moving away from each other, but toward each other. And then we're going to push the heels away and flex the feet. We'll keep the legs straight to start. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but my heels are really scraping on my sticky mat. Try to peel your shoulders back a little bit. I felt myself slouching, so I'm saying it to remind me and you. And we'll do a few pointing and flexing. Now, the next time your feet flex, turn your toes out. So we're rolling out, so those inner thighs are opening up a little bit. And then from here, point. So point, so the feet are open, but they're pointing. And then bring your toes in toward each other. And then we'll flex the feet again. We'll turn those toes out. So it's not like we're just turning them out from the feet and the ankles. We're turning those legs out from the thighs and then point those toes, right? So we're doing a little work for the feet, for the ankles, for the whole leg. We'll do just a couple more. Really reaching with those toes, and notice the arches of your feet, especially when you point and bring those toes in toward each other. Now, when the toes are pointed, the feet are extended toward each other, let's go the opposite way for just a couple of rounds. So when we roll out, the heels move forward, feet flex, toes in toward each other, and then we point. Yeah, we'll do one or two more. Great. And then just come to center, let it go. A few little leg bangers. If you're holding your breath while you're doing it, it's a good opportunity to take in a breath now. Okay. So we'll do one more variation, right, with the bent knees, the flexed feet. So we're going to exhale, point your toes so your heels are glued. Inhale, bend your knees and flex your feet, and then exhale, point and extend. And we can go kind of quick with this, right? You know, you could breathe a comfortable breath and just get some pumping and pulsing action through your legs while you're trying to control, and I'm speaking to myself as well, trying to control that inner ankle working in toward each other, right? So I'm not sickling those feet. One or two more, getting some pumping action. So the knee is a hinge joint, right? It really should only move in one direction, which is what we're doing now. And sometimes the muscle supporting the knee kind of wants to pull it out of track. So the next time your knees bend, your feet flex, reach your arms up. Again, grow up nice and tall and long. And then exhale, we're just going to dive down, belly on the thighs. Maybe your hands can touch your toes. Inner ankles working. So feel your lower back stretching, pelvic floor, navel lifting. And then if you can, just extend your legs out as you stretch your hamstrings. We're stretching the whole western side of our bodies, the whole back of our bodies. Another breath. And then when you're ready, you can either hinge up or you can slowly, very slowly, use your belly, roll on up from that forward fold. Okay. So let's bend the right knee and bring the sole of the foot to your inner ankle. So you're all like trying to read my mind and anticipate that the foot should be up by your thigh, but no, we're not going to do that right now. And let that knee open out. Now, if you feel any pain in the knee here, you got to be kind of careful, right? You maybe don't want to go there. You want to do something different. But for those of you who feel okay, we're going to come down into the first level of Janu Shirshasana for today. So we're just going to come forward. Foot is as close to the inner ankle, left ankle as can be, and we bow down. So we feel a little stretch in the outer right hip, glute, and then we roll it up. Or you can hinge it up. Sometimes for people with back issues or whatever, hinging is a little better than rolling, especially if you have like osteoporosis or something like that. So on your next exhalation, we're just going to come forward. You could roll forward or hinge forward, keeping your spine as straight as possible. Once you're there, you can just let your head drop down and then notice the sensation in your left knee, how that feels. And if it's a little pulley, then even if you prop up that knee a little bit by putting a block underneath the thigh, that could be very helpful. And then with your next breath, we're going to come back up, extend it out. We'll bend the right, and we'll bring the right foot up to the inner belly of your calf muscle on your left leg. So you can see the knees getting a little bit of a deeper bend, getting a little bit deeper into the hip. This time I would like to just lift the arms up and hinge out. Now, if you can grab your foot with your hands, great. If not, hands on the floor or on your shin, it doesn't really matter. And you bow down. You're bowing down with the intention of gently encouraging the crown of your head toward the left foot. So there's some stretch through that lower back. And then with your next breath, we're going to reach the arms by the ears and hinge back up. Release the arms down. Extend the right leg, bend the left knee. Sole or the arch of that left foot is right in the belly of that right thigh. And what I love about this is that the belly just kind of sits right into the arch of that foot. So remember to put any kind of props underneath the knee or thigh. Hinge forward. Easy does it. Hands can touch the foot or the floor or the shin, and just bow down. Keep lengthening the spine out over those legs. Breathe in, breathe out. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more into that glute, lower right side of your body. And then inhale, reach out to come up, and exhale the arms down. And the back of your body, so this is your rib cage, the back of your ribs, right? So there's those floating ribs. And then right here is your hip crest, right? So you have a little soft tissue there. It's where the kind of kidney area is and all of that. Well, there's this amazing muscle, this intense muscle called the quadratus lumborum. Quadratus because it has like 4 attachment points, and it goes from the ribs down to the hip crest, and it's called the hip hiking muscle. So when we do Janu Shirshasana, we kind of get into that muscle a little bit. So if you're feeling it from like the upper outer hip here, through the lower back, that's probably that muscle getting stretched, which is very tight for many of us. So this is a really great, I love Janu Shirshasana for one of many reasons, but for that one in particular. So now we're going to challenge ourselves a little bit more. So knee people, be careful. Hip people, be careful. We're going to bring that leg in, right? This is the moment you've been waiting for. We're going to bring that right foot up to your inner left thigh. And if you notice me, I made like a little adjustment. I lifted that right hip up, and now I'm going to open the hip out. So I'm almost looking, well, not almost, I am looking toward the right a little bit from my hip standpoint, but now I'm going to bring my torso back to look out over that long leg. So a little bit more of a rotation, a little bit more of a stretch. Remember, you can bend your long knee, you can put a block underneath your right thigh, and then we're just going to hinge forward into Janu Shirshasana. Now, again, it's about leveling your torso. So how can you not sag down to your left side, right? There's this sagging or opening up of the right side of your front body. So we want to drop the right ribs down as you imagine the left hip drawing back, and let your head come down, right? So you're falling forward as if both feet or both legs are out in front of you. Now let your right hand come to the outside of your left foot, leg, shin. You can cross your left hand over that right, bow down, bend your elbows a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. And then release your arms, come on up from Janu Shirshasana, and then let it come down. Okay, let's stand on that foot, extend that leg out, and we'll do the third level of Janu Shirshasana with the left leg drawing in. So that leg comes up. If you feel restriction in your hip, the lower the foot goes down your opposite leg, the easier it is for your hips. So you draw that heel in. Again, open that left hip out. See how I'm turning a little bit to accommodate the hip. And then I'm going to turn my torso back toward that long leg. Inhale the arms up. Breathe. This is, we're dealing first chakra, second chakra, a lot of third chakra here too. Surrendering down, right? So there's the sixth chakra, Breathe in, breathe out. Now remember, if that left shoulder is hiking up or the ribs are opening, we want to encourage with a gentle rotation for the spine to just be parallel to the floor. Let your head, neck, and shoulders go. If you can reach with your left hand, cross it over to the right pinky edge, and then crisscross your arms. Bow your head down. Breathe in, breathe out. Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Another breath. Release your arms and hinge on up. Whew. And let that be enough for now. Shake it out. Okay. So I think just trying to think of a nice segue. Let's just spend just a couple of minutes on our backs, right? After sitting for so long. And then after our back, I really want to do some belly down stuff, right? So maybe side lying stuff. So come on to your back. You might want a blanket initially under your head, but of course, you know, when we're on our backs, we do bridges, no blanket under your head for bridge. So as you come onto your backs, this is that moment that you give yourself of just surrender, of releasing. No care in the world. Even though we care deeply, right? So we care deeply, but there's a place within us at some point, and this is something that I'm always working toward, of trusting that right this moment, everything is okay right now for us. And we know that it's not okay for a lot of other folks. But we're putting that oxygen mask on ourselves right now, taking a few breaths in our own personal journey, our own personal life, to find the resolve and the reserve to do our good work in this world. So with your next breath now, we're going to bring the feet onto the floor. If you have that blanket under your head, well, you could leave it there for another moment or two. That's fine. So press just gently into your feet, lift your hips, lengthen your tail. And again, I know we keep doing this every week, and I will tell you, you know, because I got feedback about lower back issues from last week and how the class really helped. I will tell you, because I have lower back stuff, chronic for years, that by doing these two things that we're going to do right now, it's like helped me so much. Like I really, it's really shored up my pelvic floor. It's shored up my back. That I have, you know, I don't want to give myself a kanina as my mother would say, like a hex, right? I don't want to, but it's, I can't tell you how grateful I am. So we're going to take our hands, we're going to put our hands, right? We're going to feel our pelvis. We want it to be nice and level. So the back of your belly button is toward the floor. And when you put your index finger toward your pubic bone, toward the front of your pubic bone, and your thumbs toward the back of your pubic bone, there's this little triangle that's created. And we want to feel like it's perfectly level, right? So one's not tipping forward or back or up or down. It's just right, nice and level, right? So from here, keeping your hands where they are, we're going to tip so you could feel how it changes. We're going to do our anterior tilt of the dog and then our posterior tilt of the cat. And your feet are on the ground. And this is less about your legs working and more of an internal movement, right? So you're letting that pelvic floor do the work. You're letting your deep core abdominal muscles do the work of moving your pelvis. We'll do one or two more. And honestly, after that Janu Shirshasana, right, where we're really stretching that quadratus lumborum, This feels pretty good. And now we're going to come into a neutral pelvis. So find that balance again, right? So your fingers, your index fingers and your thumbs are right straight on that line. And then we're going to tip the pelvis toward the right, keep the knees upright, and then we're going to tip the pelvis toward the left. So we're rocking the hips a little from side to side. So the feet are on the floor. You might feel some movement in the legs, but that's just because the pelvis is moving. They're not doing the work. Again, it's all coming from the pelvis. And the other thing you might notice when you do this side to side tipping of the pelvis or pelvic rock is that one side has more sensation or tightness than the other side. Very common. This is really great for any sacroiliac issues, right? The sacrum. And then the next time you go to your left, just pause. Release your arms. Now is when we take the blanket out from under our head because we have our feet on the floor. Once again, just lift your hips a little bit, realign your pelvis back on the ground. Now, before we come up to bridge, I'd like everybody, and if you need to look at me while you're doing it, do that, to lift their head and shoulders off the ground. So your back is on the ground, your hips are on the ground. Lift your head and shoulders, look forward. And if you can see me, I'm snuggling my shoulder blades back. I'm lengthening my torso back onto the floor just a little bit more. So again, creating some length through my trunk, through my torso. Backs of the shoulders are down, hands are on the floor. And then with your next breath, press into your feet, tuck your tail, and roll up to your first bridge. Now, it's the first one, so don't have that big of an expectation. And then we'll roll it down. And we'll roll it back up again. So we're going to keep it going up and down. Let's do about 10 to 15. Now you can position your feet in a little bit closer or further away. I like to have my ankles right underneath my knees. And we're just going to come up and down. So knowing that this is more of an exercise and a preparation than an actual bridge. So don't be too demanding on your spine here, just enough to really lift those hips up, get the back body. You might feel your hamstrings here, your buttock muscles. You should feel your hamstrings and buttocks. Great. Yeah. And now the next time you come down, just pause. Next time you come down, pause. And when you do pause, let your knees flop open. Let your knees flop open. So we open the inner thighs, quite a bit already, right? With the Janu Shirshasana and then the soles of the feet together and all of that. And then once again, lift your head, snuggle your spine back a little bit. So you're creating a nice long spine. The back of your belly button is pressing down into the floor. And we'll do our core exercise by lifting the feet off the ground. The soles of the feet are as close together as they can. Knees over hips. Let your arms reach up toward the ceiling. Belly in toward the spine. For a little extra intensity, if you're needing a little bit more, right, because you're so strong, you can just let your legs go straight just a little bit out in front of you. Try to keep the soles of the feet coming in toward each other, but pin and squeeze that belly into the floor. Keep breathing. Hold it for another couple of seconds. You got this, everybody. And then once again, just release your feet down toward the earth, arms down by your sides. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Let everything go for a moment. And once again, with your next breath, maybe you want to walk your heels in just a little bit closer. We're going to press down into those feet, lengthen your tail, roll up to your bridge. Now, when you get stuck, right, because maybe your shoulders are lengthened, snuggle your shoulder up towards your ears and then underneath you. And then press up into a bridge and keep pressing down. So feel those quadricep muscles right? So knee people, you'll hopefully feel good and strong, or you're doing the right thing for yourself. Another breath here, another breath. Hold that bridge, squeeze your tush, feel your hamstrings. Now, press your shins forward, right? So you're moving your thighs. Well, it's a subtle movement. It's an intention as you lengthen the back of your legs forward and then slowly release it down. Okay. Whew. And then once you come down, you do what you need to do, right? What do? Maybe you rock your hips a little bit. Maybe you hug your knees in. I don't know. What do you need? Right? So figure it out. Now we're going to do bridge again, but we're going to challenge our hamstrings a little bit. Okay? So we're going to do a one-legged bridge. Now there are two ways of doing a one-legged bridge. I mean, in terms of what the one leg is doing. So I'm just trying to figure out, let me go this way. So if you need to, maybe you should just watch for a minute, assuming I know what I'm doing and I can do it. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to come up to a bridge. So when I said roll your shoulders up towards your ears a little bit and then under you, it was to find that length through the torso. And so here we are in the bridge, really using the arms. You can do yoga mudra underneath you. And then one-legged, I'm going to press down into my left foot and just extend my right leg out. We don't want to collapse the hips, but keep lifting the hips. Try to keep the hips as level as you can. And then we'll release it down. Or you could release your foot to bridge and then come down. Okay? So let me watch you. If you have any questions, pipe up or unmute yourselves. And let's see your one-legged bridges, guys. Beautiful, Jane. Keep pressing down through your left heel. We're going to do the right leg first. Yes, Carol, you can bring it up toward the ceiling, but lift your pelvis a little bit higher. And if you want to try it with your left leg in line with your right leg, Carol, go ahead and do that. Because I find that more challenging, and I know you like a challenge. So you decide which one works best for you. You've tried them both. And then with your next breath, let it come down. Take a break. Relax a little bit. All right. And let's do the other side. So do your other leg. So your hamstrings are really working. Your buttocks is lifting and engaged. Good. Find your bridge. So is your knee in line with the opposite knee, or is your leg reaching up toward the ceiling? Keep those hips lifted. If you feel a little cramping in your hamstring, just bring it down. And then gently release. And once again, find your recovery. What do you do next? Good. All right. So with your next breath, roll onto one side and then roll around onto your hands and knees, or we'll come up and roll around onto your hands and knees. You can start in a child's pose as a nice transition. And then coming up from your child's pose. So, I'm not sure if you need a cushion underneath your knees or not, but we're going to come onto our bellies in a moment. But before we do that, just want to do another little preparation. So wrists underneath shoulders, right? Knees underneath hips. It's always nice to do a few cats and dogs to just remind the spine. lifting the pelvic floor. Now, tuck your toes under and just bring your butt back toward the heels. Let's do a down dog first. So the arms are reaching, you're looking forward between your hands, and then we'll just lift the knees, press your heels back, and we'll tread a little bit, right? So one heel down, then the other. Good. Let your head hang, and then let your knees come down. And if it's okay for you, sit back on your shins for a moment. So we're going to do some back bending. And for the majority of back issues, like people that have lower back issues, back bending is good, right? It's indicated. But you really need to, again, be really mindful of pelvic floor and navel. So for me, when we do back bending stuff, and so, shoulder people, and myself included, I find like when I do a cobra, it's hard on my shoulders for me. So that's sometimes one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of them, right, in class and stuff. But people with lower back stuff, you can also find that it could be a little bit challenging. So just wanted to give you that disclaimer. So the first thing that we're going to do in terms of a little bit of a back bend is, I call it kind of a hybrid pose. It's not an up dog, and it's not a cobra. It's like right in between the two. So wrists underneath shoulders. We're going to round into a cat tilt, and then just keeping your knees on the ground, let your pelvis drop toward the floor. So you can see my thighs are not on the ground, just the upper part of my knee, right, just above the knee. And I'm just going to suspend here and imagine my chest being drawn forward. Now I'm actively lifting the pelvic floor and squeezing my butt. Feel your collarbones separating a little bit. Some weight bearing for the arms, of course. Now draw your hips back. Come back to more neutral, and then maybe walk each hand forward another step. And once again, tuck your tail under. If you are not comfortable in any of this, stop doing it. And we're going to just let the pelvis drop down again. But the difference between this side and the first time is we're going to lift the right hip and look back over the right shoulder a little bit, then drop that hip and look back over the left shoulder. Stay very strong in your tummy, your pelvic floor, and your buttocks. And we'll just rock the hips a little from side to side. So easy does it, shoulder people. Easy does it, back people. Great. And then the next time you kind of find your way through center, it doesn't matter if you're even or not, just let your elbows bend and roll yourselves down onto your bellies. Now, once you come down onto your belly, like as we do when we're on our backs, just let everything go. Just let everything go. You can turn your head to the side. You can stack one hand on top of the other, forehead on that hand. Breathe in, breathe out. Great. And now we'll all come to bring one hand on top of the other, forehead down on those hands. So you're creating a little perch so your nose doesn't get squished on the mat, and you can breathe. Now, if you're looking up at me, you'll probably see my head lifted only because it's just easier to talk and I have more air, right? So instead of talking to the floor. Now, tuck all 10 toes under and press back through your heels, and this will lift the front of your thighs and knees off the ground. So knee people, this is a really great stretch to stretch the backs of the legs in an easier way than Paschimottanasana, forward stretch. And then we'll release those toes down, knees down, point your toes. And we'll do alternating leg lifts. Well, actually, let's not alternate. Let's do one leg at a time. So very gently, Squeeze your butt a little bit. Lift your right leg, the right thigh off the floor, reaching the toes back, and drop it down. And then we'll do 9 more times just with the right leg, trying to keep the knee as straight as possible. So what's lifting the leg? Your hamstring, your buttock. Yeah. Do 1 or 2 more up to your number 10 of the right leg. And you'll do 10 on the other side. So in your own pacing, your own time, I'll join you and do 10 on my other leg. Make sure that you can feel the knee as straight as can be. There's this tendency in this for people to bend their knee. You want to keep it so you don't have to worry about your leg coming way far off the ground. Just keep it straight. And when you've done 10 on that side, pause. Okay. So I'm assuming you're all done. Now take your right arm and reach your right arm long on the mat over your head. Take your left hand out from underneath your chest and press into that left hand as it pushes you onto the right side of your body. So you're going to get nice and long on the right side of your body. Nice and long, like you're in a side-lying mountain pose. And it should feel a little bit wobbly, right? Like you're needing to balance a little bit. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do for the torso and for the lateral part of your body. So lift your left leg off of your right leg, not up toward the ceiling, but out. And then take your left hand off of your left thigh and lift your head as you reach your left hand for your outer left foot. So if you're not sure what to do, take a look at me. And then you're squeezing your ribs and your toward your hip, and then let it come down, right? So once again, we're working that quadratus lumborum, we're working the obliques, and we'll keep it going. We'll come up and down a few times. I tend to do 12 to 15, but we don't have to do it all right now. You could do some later. Another breath, squeeze. Beautiful. Okay, let's just do one more. And when you come up this time, hold it, keep reaching, 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 and then release it down. When you come down, you can have both arms reaching out in front of you. We're down on the ground again. We're going to do more back bending in a moment. And then you're going to roll onto your left side. So the back of my body now is facing the camera. I'll just do 1 or 2 from the back so you can see what that looks like if you need a visual. I'm going to lift the right leg, going to lift the right arm, going to lift the torso as she falls, and reach for that leg, and we'll bring it down, right? So each side is a little bit different. And again, we're trying to stay pretty calm in the pelvis. Navel is lifting. Really working the side body. And it's not fast. If you're going fast and your torso is still on the ground, you're not doing it right. So you lift the leg first, then you lift your arm to reach for that leg, and your torso is coming off the ground a bit. There you go. Great. Yeah. Nice. And then when you think you've done quite a few, just for time's sake for right now, you'll come down onto your bellies and know that this is a really great one to incorporate into your practice. So take a little break here on your bellies again. Just let everything settle. If you want to reconnect your pubic bone, you tuck your toes under, you straighten both legs, you can feel yourself coming down onto your lower abdomen and pubic bone. And take a few breaths here. So earlier when we were breathing, I said, we're three-dimensional beings, right? So you want to breathe into the front, to side, and the back of your body. And it's the same thing when we're exercising and moving, right? We have to kind of address the spirals in our body and the sides, and not just the front and back. So I love that sideline work. Okay, we're going to do some back bending again. And this time, we're going to start to work our way up to Cobra. So in Cobra, the ideal of the pose is that the pubic bone stays on the ground. But we say if the pubic bone has to come off the ground a little bit, so be it. For my shoulders, I keep my hands out around in line with my ears or so, and that really helps me to come up. Others, if you are good in your shoulders, you can bring your hands, we kind of use the breasts as an indicator, so your thumbs are in line with your breasts, and the elbows are hugging in toward the ribs. The legs stay on the ground, you're reaching, and with your next breath, you can just slowly reach up, shoulder blades toward each other, hands can be out and forward a little bit to accommodate shoulders, and then you come up. Now, elbows do not have to straighten. If they do, great. Navel in. If you feel a pinching in your lower back, keep lifting that pelvic floor and navel. Chest moves forward, collarbones spread, shoulder blades toward each other. Really pin your pubic bone toward the earth or your upper thighs down, and then very slowly lengthen and reach it forward and release. When you come down, you can turn your head to the side. Relax your buttocks, right? Because your butt was really working to support you there. And then let your knees bend. And we'll do a little windshield wiper from side to side. Don't be too vigorous here, just enough. Okay. So let your legs come down. We're going to do another Cobra. I want to watch you. So just watch me for a minute. So if you want to do that again in a moment, go ahead. But if it wasn't for you, if it was too much on your shoulders, you can do a variation with the arms down, right? So we know this is Shalabhasana, where you just, arms are back behind you and you lift. You can even lift your legs here. So that's a beautiful, beautiful pose. I actually love Shalabhasana. So you find your next back bend and bring yourselves into it. And I'll try to see and offer any feedback. Beautiful, gorgeous, Carol. Gorgeous, beautiful, Jane. Jane, just spread your collarbones and relax your shoulders a little bit and just like, not a care in the world. Nice. Another breath. Imbal, that's great. Think about your tailbone chasing your heels. Thank you, Rob and Suzanne. Beautiful poses. And with your next breath, bring it down. And the only reason why I didn't maybe mention your name was I couldn't really see exactly what you were doing. All right. So now is the time that we come into a forward fold, right? So we've back bended. Now we need to do the balance for that. So come back onto your hands and knees. Use your belly. If you feel a little strain in your lower back, you'll know you'll stretch it out. You can even come to down dog or plank as a nice way to stretch. Yep, beautiful, Imbal. I would have done exactly what you're doing. Let your head come down. Firm up that abdomen. Gorgeous. Now we need to get onto our feet for just a moment, right? It's okay if we don't always do a standing practice, but for right now, why not? Let's just walk your feet forward, coming to Uttanasana. Let your head hang. Knees can be soft for your hamstrings or lower back, but if you can keep them straight, that's good too. Hands on your hips, extend your spine forward, reach out, keep lifting and bring yourselves up. Okay, great. With your inner legs coming together just a bit, shoulders over hips, peel your right heel off the ground, and like you're going to be taking a big step up, just lift that right foot. And we'll hold it for a breath just to notice and connect to our balance for today. And then release that foot down, root that foot down to the floor, and we'll lift the opposite leg up like you're going to take a big step. Notice the ankles, the negotiation that's happening through your leg. Good. And release that down. Let's come into Vrikshasana, the tree pose. So when we began, we did the Janu Shirshasana. We did 3 levels of where the foot could be. And this is true for tree pose as well. You'll choose one that you want to do. So the first one, you can keep your toes on the ground or have your foot as close to your ankle, right? Takes a little pressure off of the leg, a little more balance. Calf, and then you can bring that foot all the way up to your upper thigh, okay? So find your tree pose. I don't have to teach this pose. You guys know it. Ideally, the hips are staying level. We tend to tip onto the standing leg a little bit, so bring that standing leg into the center. Gorgeous. If you're struggling with balance, bring your leg down a little bit lower. Gorgeous, Ani. This is your pose. Oh my goodness. We could probably close the Zoom and come back 2 hours later and you could still be standing there. That's how beautiful and solid that pose is. Gorgeous. And then when you're ready, you'll come down and do the other side. So I've mentioned this before over the years. So just do whatever side you are. You know, there was that study, I don't know if New York Times, Wall Street Journal, whatever it was, that said that if you can stand on one leg for 10 seconds or more, it increases the longevity of your life. And man, let me tell you, us yogis, I don't know, we might make it to 120 with Moses. Find your tree pose. Try to keep your hips as level as you can. You guys are holding it for much longer than 10 seconds. Keep going. Gorgeous. So the magnolia already bloomed, losing their leaves. Now the dogwoods are coming out. So what tree are you today? What blooming tree are you? And when you're ready, gently release. Okay. And we'll just do a little opening your feet wide, knees bend. We'll do just a little empty coat sleeves or helicopters. Breathing in, breathing out, letting things flow. Great. And let it go. We're going to start to come down. We got to get into our Shavasana. So start to come down onto your backs. When you first get on your back, if you want to just extend your legs up toward the ceiling for a moment or two, go ahead. Just to get a little inversion, shake out those legs, and then begin to settle. Another opportunity to pause, to surrender down into this moment. Feel your breath. And once again, allowing your breath to bring you into your body. And then eventually adding your movement back in and bringing yourselves up to your seated posture. And when you come into either cross-legged, soles of the feet together, or Virasana, notice where you place your hands. What does it feel like? What's the energy? Taking a moment or two to feel, to be, to do nothing. And let's inhale and gather the arms up, stretching up. And let the palms of the hands come together in front of the chest. With gratitude for each other, with gratitude for this practice of yoga, and all the love and goodness in our lives. We'll close our practice with the sound of Om, taking in breath. Om. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Let me end the recording for now.